All right. Hello, hello. Zach Martin here. Kids deserve dads. I have a major delay when I'm looking at my screen and what's going on, but I want to say hello and uh, good night. I'm sure there's lots of going on, and I'm just excited to have you guys here with me today, being part of this and supporting me in supporting each of you. Did a live yesterday, and it was really a good one. And talked about what I went through yesterday and just being in relationship with his family and stuff, and working on helping them out to get their kids. And was talking with a good friend of mine, and Melissa Isaac, and last night, and we talked about doing a call today about shared parenting, uh, co-parenting, and parallel parenting, and discussing what the differences are between those things, kind of what's, which one's best or the right one for you, and how those things can fluctuate. I think at different points in time, different approaches are appropriate and supportive to moving the family forward. And it's about doing what's best for the kids. And the key to both of these ones is that kids get to have as much time as they can with both parents to go out there, experience the world, get to learn, get to be part of the different families, and have the opportunity to really get the experience that they would get in those families by having that amount of time. And it can look a lot of different ways. And everybody gets to decide, right, on what works best for them. And I will 100% tell you, and I will tell this to everybody, if you can come to an agreement with your kid's mom, that's better. Um, make an agreement. Don't go to court. Don't do the stuff with judges or anybody else. Make that decision for yourselves. Come to an agreement that works for you guys, and then um, help each other out to hold to it and do the right thing for your kids. Staying out of court, always the top number one choice you can make. So that's what I recommend. I'll tell everybody that I'm about to become a lawyer here in a few months, and I'm going to tell everybody that I talk to and work with, do not go to court if at all possible. It's not the place where uh, people are supported and healthy relationships and everything go down. Um, I'm sending a link to Alicia right now to get Alicia on here. We had a good call the other day. She's one of my best friends. We'll definitely enjoy having her at any opportunity that I get to hang out, and she's available tonight. And so working on getting her set up with the right contact information so she can log in here and we can roll with this. But so I think first and foremost, being a good co-parent with the other parent, if you can, that is always preferred, right? Always the best. We're all here most likely because that's not how it's gone down. I think there's gonna be a lot of great stuff on here for dads that are in relationship with their kid's mom, intact families. I feel like a lot of the stuff we're talking about only is going to strengthen those dads' relationships and connections and stuff also. And most of the guys that are on here are coming from a similar experience that I've come from, and have gone through a divorce or separation and don't get to have their kids because of that experience. And so you get to have them either every other weekend, maybe you get to have them half the time, but it's a different situation that you're going to be finding yourself in. And I'm working on it, Alicia. So I'm going to get you squared up. And so what I'm doing is the comments are up there. All right. Working on getting it set up. So uh, the the first thing, co-parenting, right? What does it mean to be a good co-parent and to be connected to your co-parent and work together for your kids? I think the most important thing with being a co-parent is being honest and responsible, and open, connected, with that other parent. That you don't hide nothing, you don't halfway tell the truth. That you are honest and responsible for the things that you say and the things that you do, and making good choices for yourself and for your kids, and putting yourself in the right spot to to do those things. And so it requires a lot of thinking and forethought on how do you show up, how do you be connected with your kids, how do you do these things properly. And I see it now, Alicia. I'm figuring it out. Figuring it out. I'm on my computer screen. It's got me spread all over the place. So being connected with your kids, doing a good job of being supportive and helping them out, that's really one of the most important things you can do. There you go. I got it over here now. Is to do that. And uh, one second, I'm doing one thing. All right. It's going to be the most effective way to be connected with your kids and be supportive. When Alicia logs on, she'll be getting now. Uh, and so you want to be there for your kids, being open, honest, responsible, having real discussions about what you're thinking and what you're feeling, not being coming from like a place of ego or from a place of judgment, but being like really committed to showing up in a healthy, responsible way with your kids. If something happens, owning it, being responsible. If you didn't do a thing perfectly, own that. Be honest, be upfront. You're always better off to tell somebody and be upfront with somebody about the truth and what's going on prior to something happening, right? Or whatever, or something's going to happen, and you tell them, at least you are ahead of the game, and being consistent with that. The hard part, and I think a lot of hard parts with that is that once you are inconsistent with that, and then you start doing things along these lines, people then, don't always respond the same way. Um, and so that's first and foremost. And co-parenting is so impactful for a kid because what you have is two parents who are working together, communicating, supporting each other in helping raise the kids. They're having communications, they're having good dialogue, they're really connected together, working for their kids to help make that their lives happen and be more impactful and beneficial. And so it's so important that these kids do that, and that these adults work together in that way. Um, Another thing that is along with that, and it's really important for us to have, is that you're going to have, I'm trying to get Alicia logged in. You're going to have, um, that connection point. And so you're going to be doing sporting events together, taking kids, going to school, picking kids up from school. That's always the preferred way, and getting along and being kind and supporting each other. I think everybody agrees that if that's possible, that's the preferred way. What ends up happening a lot of times, and what happens in our courts now, is that somebody's incentivized to be a bad behavior, uh, to prevent another parent from being involved and being connected, and that because they then can't work together and can't have that co-parenting relationship, that what a lot of these judges and courts and lawyers and stuff are saying is that if you can't get along with that person, then that one of us, you have to be the custodial parent, and the other person has to be a visitor to the kids, because if you can't get along, you can't parent together. And that's just not true. There you have two homes, two people getting kids to school, doing all these things, that with that you actually have the opportunity to parent and do equal time in a different way, which doesn't require any real connection or communication. All right. Um, Weird. That's what it shows, Alicia. Um, let's try this one. And so I think, anyways, I'm not getting Alicia on. This is idea of parallel parenting. We'll try to get it on later on. We'll do this together another time. I'm learning this process, and but I have it on my computer now, and I intend to do it in this kind of element and environment for a while going forward. So, anyways, parallel parenting. This is the idea where one parent has a kid for one week, other parent has a kid for another week, During that entire time, both parents can get school information online. Everything's done through texting, or uh, all the school records are actually just on every school's website, right? I mean, the government's trying to watch us all. So how are they going to do that? They get it all centralized in one easy place. It's all the same. Every district that I've seen and know of, and I would imagine almost all of them probably have some kind of online application for you to go on there and do that. And so you don't have to even have that talking points and connection. And you don't have to even necessarily see that other parent if you don't get along, right? If you're in a conflict and not resolve your issues together, and you guys can't be in the same space because either one or both parents can't hold their tongue and can't act appropriately, then which I think a lot of times it can be both. It definitely, if you're in that spot, you at least have one, right? So, but um, I think what's really important though is that you have that space, and so you could have it where one parent drops a kid off at school on Monday morning, and that parent picks them up, and they have the whole entire week. I would think a better approach, that one that I would prefer and think is the best, is that when you take your kids on Friday, you drop them off Friday morning. The next parent picks them up after school Friday afternoon, and then they have them for the whole entire weekend until the following Friday during that week, and then they drop them off. And that during that time, you might see each other if you go to the doctor's appointments and stuff, and but you don't have to necessarily see each other. Send a text, communicate that way, or shared parenting apps. There's these uh, My Family Wizard and things along those lines. And if somebody thinks that'd be a good video, let me know. I had been about doing like an instruction video on kind of like showing how these kind of apps and stuff work, how it can be supportive to actually have an app to help keep communications, to put up doctor's appointments and things on those lines, things that you have to say that you don't necessarily want to have this extra communication, like, hey, sending a text out about, hey, I signed him up for football and did this and did that, and here's your part, and you can't, here's how, I'd like to get paid back or whatever. If you can't have those kind of reasonable conversations with there when you're in a dispute, you're breaking up because of a reason, right? That's what's happening, and you're not like breaking up because, hey, bad link, bro. Nah, uh, there you go. Thanks, Evan. Yeah, it's free, and it seems like it works really well. So I think it's that's a good one. Talking Parents, the My Family Wizard. I think there's two or three different apps that have this ability to really allow you to connect with the other parent and also not be spending all this time talking to them. If you can't send texts to each other or make phone calls to each other and have decent conversations, having a space like that where you can just go on there and keep all that stuff tracked and located is a really great idea. And people are getting divorced. We're getting divorced and separated because you're not getting along. You're not having a good relationship. You probably lost the ability to communicate in a healthy manner, and that happens, and it's going to continue to happen for most people. That's just how these relationships go, and it doesn't have to be exacerbated like we do with the family courts. And the way they're set up right now is that they make this problem 10 times worse. By now, one person has to be the parent, one person has to be a visitor, and it becomes this drop down, drag out fight to the finish of who will get to be in control of the kids and control of the relationship and control of every aspect of parenting, and basically get to dictate um, to the other parent whatever terms they deem that they want. Um, I think you can ask probably most any lawyer, and they'd say that, oh, you got to hold them in contempt, right? But you hold them in contempt, the judges don't hold them in contempt. They don't do anything. They don't penalize them. And so what's the penalty? Okay, like I had to come to court, and you told me not to do it, and I'm just going to do it again. Um, and so avoiding that at all costs and having that being less a factor is so much better. And so with we get to this point where all these other 5 states now, if all the states come to a shared parenting standard and we have 50-50 custody across the board and everybody's getting to have their kids, the family courts will be so much less dramatic and expensive and awful of an experience, because it will be about a clean and simple separation of the family assets and things on those lines, as opposed to holding kids and using them as pawns to punish and get back at the other parent. They'll be taken out of the equation, and kids will just be allowed to be humans who get to be loved by both parents who are having a hard time being in connection and relationship with each other. And that with having healthier, better family connections and relationships, we're going to have healthier kids. Our kids are going to do better in school. Our kids are going to do better in life in general, because they're not going to see their parents being absolutely destroyed and somebody, being able to use their power in a way that is damaging to the other parent and their relationship, and uses that power to punish and hurt. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for us to make a lot of differences and do this. So the best thing, though, I think they don't want to. No, they don't, and it's going to have to be, Chris. It's going to have to be, I think, something where these judges. I don't think any of these judges care about what I'm saying. I think they might care because I'm going to be going for a bar exam, but I don't know if they really necessarily care. But we get to work on doing things like changing laws, doing changing bills, working together to get this stuff changed, helping change relationships and connections with people, and supporting families to be better together. And so I know that, yeah, when parents are okay, kids are okay. It's important. Thanks, Sarah. And it's really important to have that focus on helping these kids out, giving these kids the healthy family and a healthy split. It's terrible enough to break up a family and stuff, but then when kids are put in the middle, and even though people always say, "Oh, I'm not doing that" and stuff, if you're not letting your kids be at the other parent's house an equal amount of time, or when they ask to be because it's not their time or this and that, that's damaging to these kids. That hurts their relationship. And the goal is to have as many healthy people as we can around our kids, supporting them and doing better things for them, and helping families break up cleaner, quicker, and with less damage financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Avoiding all those things is going to help our kids out so much more than what we have going on right now. I think accountability is a huge thing we need to have done. I completely agree. I think that we need to be having laws written that really make it so there is an exact penalty, that the judge doesn't have a choice on like discretion to do whatever they want to do, and they can let somebody get off five, six, seven times. That judges is told that they have to do these things at least at these benchmarks. And so maybe the first time a judge can give a warning, and the second time they can levy a small fine that they have to do, and maybe the third time is something small like that also, but that it gradually is more painful and more devastating to the parent who is holding the kids from the other parent without good reason. And if there is a reason, then I think that's a different choice and different saying. But without good reason, that gets in trouble. And as you get through that fourth or fifth time, then you start doing jail time, and then there becomes an automatic switch, of parenting time to the other parent. Um, and they do write these laws, and they're there. I think what we need to have is a movement of guys that are out there, working with like guys like Mark Ludwig. I know actually really excited about some stuff, and I think I'm going to get on here one day and talk to him, figure out this interview mode. And all right, Alicia's ready. Let's do it. So, are you in the thing? How do I interview mode? Um, Anyways, show hide. Hmm. I am still not seeing you. So, all well, we're on it. So, but come on now. I did this before, and I didn't think it was this challenging. Guests can join using the link below. So you logged into the link and you're ready to log in on the live. It's Alicia. I know. Listen, her name messes me up all the time too. So, uh, oh, here she is. All right, good. So, check me out. What's up? How's it going?
Can you see me?
No one can see you right this second. I can see you. How's that? Actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna flip it. Check that out. Look at that. I'm like a technology wizard right now. So,
Make me smaller.
I don't think I can make you smaller. I think that's the way that it goes. How are you tonight?
Darn.
I feel like there's a delay. I get to
Great.
do some. I get to hardwire my line in, I think, and I think this is a problem that we were having with Ivan, and him and I were talking about it. That we're the stream with two people on. Are you live? Can you see me? Are you breaking up?
See you. There's a
Okay.
major delay.
I know. All right, I'm letting you go. Let's figure this out, and I get to do something different. So I got to figure out what it is. Bye. See ya. Okay, well that sounded awesome, and it worked as bad as it did when I was doing it with Chris Rainbolt. So I get to figure out something with my computer internet speed, the latency. Yeah, I need a tech person to help me out. So we're gonna cut that out, and we'll figure it out in the future how to do a better job. So Wi-Fi is too slow. Yeah, I think yeah, that's what I was talking with Ivan about, and I get to buy a connector and Ethernet cord or whatever to go straight from the machine to my laptop. So dope. Jonathan, message me afterwards. I would totally take some support. So I appreciate that. And we are not going to be at the Parents movie premiere. I know they're doing it, and um, I am going to host one here, I think, and run it afterwards. Because yeah, Facebook Live went real smooth. So this is Facebook, YouTube, and another one. Twitter. There's like three or four places that I have this going to right now, all at the same time. Um, New software. I'm learning a whole bunch of new things, playing with a lot of new stuff, and I think if you listen to anybody talking about these things, they talk about it where like you just got to do it right and just put yourself out there, and then just keep going and keep going and keep going, and eventually you're going to be good. But when you start, it's garbage. So all nine of you guys watching this garbage right now, I appreciate each and every single one of you. No, it's Ecamm. I have a Mac. Ecamm Live. It's really cool software. I highly recommend it. And I can do interviews and everything else. I can do multiple cameras, and I jacked that up earlier before we went live, so I had to not do that. But I've used StreamYard a couple times, and I liked it. And I feel like with my Mac, especially, this is a really good program. So uh, Ecamm Live. So yeah. But anyway, so we were talking about parallel parenting and how that works and how you can be a good parent. You know, cases like if the guy that I was with the other day was a decent person and was able to get back to parenting, I would think that that would be a style that would be great for him and their family because they don't get along. She has a protection order against him, and it's been in place for a long time. Um, and get rid of the Wi-Fi hardline. I am committed to doing that before tomorrow. So um, that because of their past and their history, they can't be in the same space at the same time together. And I don't think he's a safe person. But if they were safe people to be around and they were able to do all these things, parallel parenting because they can't communicate with each other, that he gets them on Friday, or and takes them back to either school on Monday or takes them back to I like that idea, Cole. Chris, we should talk about that because it's something we've been talking about. So I would love to hang out and talk about it. I think that it's really important to do that. Um, yeah, buddy, you can't lose, man. And you know what? You win by going for it and fighting for it the whole entire time. Um, Crab legs, they're so good. And keep keep fighting for it. uh, he's getting schooled up on how to say Alicia's name. That you really get to work on those things. And so, but the beauty of it is that parents who have animosity and angst and issues with each other can still be there for their kids. They because they can't actually talk to each other doesn't mean they can't be a good parent and there all the time when they get to be for their kids. And we get to make that change. We get to have judges who are doing these things and believing these things. Going to law school and stuff. I got to hear a lot of things about family law and how people act from family law um, textbooks and a family law professor who had been a judge and does family law and kind of domestic violence law and has been instrumental in the state of Wyoming in making it the way that it is for the last 30 years. And it hurt my heart. Um, the section on parental alienation inside the family law textbook is a paragraph basically saying that it's debunked science and it's garbage and no one should believe it. That's what happens in the. You know what? I should do that on the live and just read it off because it's literally a paragraph that says it's not real, and that's all that they give to parental alienation inside of a law school textbook. So all these lawyers, these kids that are coming out of school, right? 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds, zero life experience whatsoever, reading these books. They don't even talk about the topic inside the book. There's zero in it, and this is the major book that they'd use for teaching this stuff. And so it's really a lot of things that we talk about in this group and other groups that are out there. That's a huge topic, and it happens all the time, and it's totally glossed over. Yeah. What's up, Alexander? How you doing, buddy? Um, uh, that they just totally gloss over that they don't give it any um, information, and I actually did a paper on it. My teacher hated it. Wrote this paper on parental alienation. I thought I was pretty good. I ain't the greatest writer in the whole entire world. I'm better than probably most people. Not the greatest lawyer writer of all time, and that's okay. But I wrote this paper and great presentation on parental alienation, and she really questioned me hard on the idea of like reunification therapy and how maybe the parents should just let the kid go and not try to be involved if the parents abusing the kid by turning them against the other parent. And it was wild to be in a space where somebody who's supposed to be an intellectual and the guide and the teacher of all these things to help kids do a better job, really it was perpetuating all the exact same things that we're seeing right now. And so these kids are coming out, these young law students and baby lawyers and stuff are coming out being taught these things that aren't really supporting the the family being connected, and that when these things happen that it's almost debunked before it even gets to have a chance to be taught. And so when they're seeing it in person and what's happening, they actually aren't really even seeing it because what they've been told from their experiences that's not even a thing. So it's really, it needs a lot of work to get that changed. And I don't know that we're going to get that changed through the law schools, without getting lawyers who are in this work, like Melissa Isaac and Mark Reel, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of these guys that are out here in this space that are supporting fathers and helping fathers out. Getting those kind of people into the law schools, and teaching that, it's just going to be so much. It's going to be just so difficult. And what we get to do is we get to work on changing laws. That's going to be the key, and we get to put together groups that are going to go out there and change laws. We get to learn to lobby. We get to get our friends healthy so they can go there and speak their hearts, and not from a place of angst or animosity or um, pain, and but a pace of like how we're here to make a difference. We're here to change this, and uh, I'm here because what's happening to my kids and all these kids is not okay. And that's the kind of work that we're going to get to do that's going to make a big difference for our families and our kids, is by stepping up and doing that. So it's really just getting the lobbyists going, getting that focused attack in the laws, and doing incremental laws. I think getting the shared parenting, that should always be on the plate, and keep working towards that all the time. I know here in South Dakota, Tom Pischke, the dude's relentless and he's focused and committed, and he just keeps coming every year. Um, and unfortunately, I won't be able to be there this year to support him much because I'll be studying for the bar exam. But I'm going to pass it this time, and after that, I'll be there with him each and every year going forward. And then he's doing that, and there's just a lot of really great stuff happening um, around here. In that, you get to do more incremental laws, more ones that are going to make a big difference. In Wyoming, there's one of the laws that basically, if you have a kid out of wedlock and the mom uses government funds, before the dad could not even know that he got a girl pregnant, and that he gets put on the birth certificate or whatever. He gets told that he's the dad, and the state will come after him for $3,500 plus the child support that they're going to collect every single month. That he starts off with the automatic bill because they wrote a law a couple of years ago to make that be the standard. And so now every dad whose kid's mom has government assistance is hit with a bill of $3,500 the moment that the kid's born, on their child support, and they're behind from day one. So um, it's really gross. It's not okay. It's not helping our families grow. It's not helping these dads be more connected and supportive of their families, right? These guys are just getting hit with this huge amount of money on day one, and then they're behind, and they're always playing catch up. And so, great moneymaker for the state, and but that's not what, is that what this is about? Is making money for the state, it, or is this about really helping families and making families better? And it gets to be the talk, and that's what we're committed to. Alicia and I have been working on um, uh, changing laws here in Wyoming for a couple of years, and we've talked about a lot of these different laws and how we're going to go about doing them. And it's just really important to have a whole bunch of laws to be working on consistently. A law for uh, a parent who doesn't support the other parent being involved and holds the kids against them without reason, and it needs to be punished. And we need to have laws to punish them, because we have a system that can do that, and we just have judges who don't. They don't like to do it. They don't like family law. No one likes family law. The judges hate it, and listening to my judge came into one of my classrooms and talked about the experience that his job is to decide who the parent is and who the visitor is, and then punish the visitor to the furthest extent of the law. That is what he came to my class and said directly to our faces. Um, and I had to bite my tongue. My teacher told me beforehand I had to bite my tongue, and he knew I was in there. And that's the state of affairs, and that's what these judges are working with. And so by making it so they can't do that because that's how these people act, then they'll have to do things differently. We don't. And so the law changing is going to make the judges do things the right way, and we just get to dictate to them how this looks, because they can't do it the right way. They're not helping out. They're, supporting their lawyer friends, supporting the state agencies and stuff, but they're not supporting families. And what we need to do is support families. And so, no, I think we started with this: don't go to court. If you can avoid it, if you can come to an agreement, if you can work together, be separated and divorced, and do a good job. If you can do that, you can co-parent, you can share parenting time, you guys can communicate, you can have open, honest, responsible discussions and dialogue and interactions with each other. That's going to be the best way you can possibly break up, and the best way you can have a split family for your kids. And that's what this should be about. And if you can't do that, but both parents are good parents and great role models, you don't even be the greatest. All you have to do is not be a terrible person. Don't be a drug addict and doing meth. Don't be committing crimes. Don't be abusing your kids. Get them to school, go to work, do the things that you do. That if you're a normal, everyday, working citizen of this country who's just trying to get by and do the best they can, that you're a good enough parent. You were a good enough parent before you split up, and you're a good enough parent today. Could you be a better parent? Coming from I could definitely be a better parent. I work on myself every day to step up to be the best dad I can be. And in doing that, I'm looking on who I am as a man and being the best man that I can be. And that focus that I put on myself, and that energy towards being my best every single moment, and keep improving, keep leveling up every single day. That's what's made me the man that I am right now, the dad that I am for my son, and that same focus in yourself can give you the same results. And that's what it's really about, is being focused and committed and dedicated to doing the work each and every day to have those results. And not everyone can get along. When I was getting split up with my son's mom stuff, we didn't get along. Couldn't be in the same space. It was hard to be around. I was traumatized. It was lots of yelling and that kind of stuff. It was not very supportive or kind. And um, having that space where I didn't have to have that contact would have been supportive for us if we had some other place to go. If we had a school or a daycare where it could just be an exchange like that, that could have been all the breaking point that we needed to have to make this stuff work. And if our son didn't have to have that power struggle over control and power that you get from the family court stuff, and it would say, hey, you split up, but this guy wants to be around half the time, he gets to have him half the time. I would have a bunch more of my rental properties back. I probably would have gone to law school and done all this stuff. So I don't know that I want to wish on that. And I wouldn't. I got to go through all that pain and suffering and and hurt for a reason. And it's got me here today. It's got me talking to you guys right this moment. It's got me graduating law school and being the best version of myself that I've ever been. And every day I continue to keep leveling up, and it feels so good. And so I would never go back to that, the life that I had before. And the opportunity now, as a lawyer, I was a realtor for like 15 years, and uh, it was a great job. And I always said I get to make, help you make the biggest purchases of a lifetime and that kind of stuff, which is cool. And it was great. It was a hell of a good life, and I loved it. Um, but I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was really getting something out of it. I got cash, and that was it. And some other friends, and things on those lines. People to invite to my parties and stuff and have a good time with. But I didn't feel like I was really making a difference. And I always thought there was something bigger. This is not what I envisioned to be my bigger, but it is what it was. And um, man, I got to dive into myself, and I got to work on myself. And I probably spent a year where I cried every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And there was a lot of pain. And being here in the space now, what I wish I would have done was been in here and connected with everybody and talking about the things that have come up in my life and what's my experiences were, and process through all of that hurt, that resistance to the system, that revenge that I wanted to get on the judge and the lawyers for hurting me and for hurting my son, and for keeping us apart. Um, I had a lot of those same feelings, and I guarantee that everybody on this thing right now can relate. They so hurt and painful, the experience of feeling like that your kid's there, and that you could do all these things, and you desperately desire to be there, and you can't. Like, you are barred by uh, law and jail and all sorts of things, and you're just helpless. And it's a really hard pill to swallow. For myself, I really did not like it, and I've always been capable, and I've had I've had the opportunity to do a lot of the things that I've wanted to do and be the man I want to be, and keep showing up, and then to have that in a blink of an eye, boom, you know, I'm now not all that stuff. I'm now just uh, I get told exactly what I have to do. I have to take him here. I have to drop him off at daycare. I have to do these things. I only get to see him for this 2 hours, and that's it. And and you have to meet at this gas station, and we have to do it all this way, and that you don't have any say so in anything that happens. You are 100% just told what to do. That's a really difficult place to be at when you're so used to making every decision for yourself and being capable and treated like a capable human being, and then all of a sudden treated like, I would say, a criminal, like somebody who's unable to make good decisions and do the right thing, and that you're treated like that. And it was really a powerful experience. So um, yeah, man, you have to do it their way. Exactly right, man. That's exactly right. Like, and they're going to dictate that to you, and they let you know that they are in control, and that they're the ones. Yeah, no, you have no control, no freedom. And if you don't pay on time, you don't do all these things, you're gonna lose more freedoms. We're gonna lose more rights. We're gonna throw you in jail and lock you up, and you're still gonna get charged child support, and you're gonna have to then pay that back after you get out of jail when you can't get a good job and stuff. Like, there are so many damaging things that it's really difficult. And it's not okay that we have this huge power dynamic and that we punish these parents this way. I know that it's called the responsibility, and so it's not debtor's prison because they don't consider it a debt. But it sure sounds like debtor's prison to me. And I know you can use a different word and make a nuanced change on it and stuff, but it's not okay that that's what they do. So, well, I hope that you get the hearing on the 16th. It's getting continued over and over again. Um, I mean, it's a story that I hear so often, and that they keep pushing it, and the whole time they're getting pushed back, and the time that you're with your kids or that you're missing never gets made back up. You know, you never get to have that opportunity back again, and it's always gone. So it's really an unfortunate thing. There's so many things to be done. There's so many laws to be changed. There's so much work that um, it might get continued again. Yeah, it was only a few weeks away. So I'm sorry to hear that, man. I wish you all the best. Hopefully, you can find a good lawyer there in Colorado. If you message the page afterwards, I can give you a lady that I got from Mark Reel, and he's been referring people to her, and I've referred people to her, and no one that I've sent so far has told me that she was bad. So I think that's a good sign. Um, if you're looking for somebody else, be happy to somebody to talk to at least, because you definitely I highly recommend a lawyer. I tell everybody you should get a lawyer. That this is not a safe place, and ignorance is no excuse, and they will eat you up if they can, and spit you out with zero concern for you or your kids in the whole process. So do not let these professionals um, abuse you, and they will. You know, the lawyers and stuff know the process. They know how to do evidence. They know how to do procedure, and they'll walk circles around you. And so, and do they win all the time? No. But you're better off with somebody who can navigate those waters better than you can. And I think guys like Rosa and stuff are exceptions to the rule. The dude's a freak, and he's awesome. But that's not the path. And if you don't have the time and the energy or the mental fortitude or emotional capacity to handle that much tension and focus and commitment to doing that work for yourself, get somebody, get somebody else, do what you do, put your nose down, live tight and focus, and really put that stuff out there. The last thing though, I think what we want to cover, co-parenting with the other parent, if you can just be at a connected, open, honest relationship with that co-parent, that's where this is at. If you can't be in that spot, but you're still a great parent, we need to have a system set up where the courts allow parallel parenting. They see the value of parallel parenting, and that's what they push towards, because that is the best things for the kids, as opposed to incentivizing somebody to say that it doesn't work, that this relationship can't be connected. So I think that's about all I got today on this. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. It was fun to be on here. I'm working on doing things differently and being better. So if you have ideas and support, bring them on. We're going to keep talking about different topics. We're going to be inviting people on here probably once a week or twice a week. One of the series that we're putting together right now is going to be a Wyoming and South Dakota series on parents. And so if you're a parent in Wyoming, if you're a parent in South Dakota, and you've gone through the family court system and you want to get your story out there, we're going to be doing interviews. My intention is that this time next year, when we start getting ready for legislation after the elections, start getting ready for legislation, that we have 50, 60 stories from each of these states of all these parents that are local, that the judges can resonate with, that the lobbyists and legislators can connect with, that these people's stories are going to resonate in these communities. And we're going to cover a vast array of topics to show what's going on and how this needs to be changed for the better, and that these ideas and these new laws that we're proposing are the things that are going to get the results that we want to have, so our kids can have better lives. We can have healthier and more supportive breakups in families, and everybody can move forward in the direction that they want without the humiliation and fight and uh, emotional, physical, financial damage that comes from being stuck in a family court system. So let's see. Yeah, man, I'm always into it. You Domestic violence charges and stuff, false claims like that, it needs to be penalized, and it's just not. There's so much that needs to be done. I definitely be open to that, Daryl. I think I'd love to do more stuff in Colorado. One of my good friends, Philly Slim, doing some great stuff down there. And I think there's a lot of need in Colorado. There's a lot of need for everywhere for these changes to be made, and that um, getting the process down, getting the steps in place to be able to do this stuff in one place and keep duplicating. I know that Jeff Miller and Jeremy Roberts have started their own lobbying group, 501c4. Love to talk to those guys because I love the work that they did in Missouri. I love that they're on their own, doing their own thing. I think they're both really intelligent and focused men who are determined to go and make this change happen, and that they are the kind of guys we want right now, we need right now, leading this charge from a place of contribution and support and experience. They've done it. They've been there. They've seen this. And so getting them involved, getting these groups together, we live in an amazing time right now where spaces like I'm on Ecamm and I'm broadcasting into like 5 different things or something like that. And, and having a chat at the same time, and Facebook and all these groups, and everybody to communicate in such immediate and accessible ways. It really is a amazing time, and that if we're going to make these changes and stuff, these are our moments right now, and we get to be really focused, we get to be really committed. And if you're that person in your area, then let's jump on board, let's make some things happen, and let's bring this change to our states, and let's help our kids have both loving and fit parents as much as they possibly can, and have divorces and separations be less combative and more supportive, and our kids are going to be better, and our lives are going to be better, and this world will be a better place without so much fighting and anger and family court. So love you all. Wish you guys the best day, man. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. There's probably football on or something like that. And talk to you all soon. Good night.